Some have small Instagram pages showcasing saris, handicrafts, and jewelry. A strange and beautiful hybrid emerges. Old world charm combined with modern convenience. A customer might bargain face to face one day and order from home the next. Competing with malls. Malls offer air conditioning, fixed prices, and brand consistency. But New Market offers human warmth, heritage, uniqueness, surprise. In malls, every outlet looks like the next. In New Market, no two corners are alike. There is always something unexpected. A hidden staircase, an antique calendar, a forgotten lane, a new stall sharing space with one that has existed for decades. The emotional landscape of New Market. Perhaps the most profound part of New Market is not its architecture, not its products, not even its history, but the emotions tied to it. Memories of youth. For many people, New Market is where they bought their first watch, their first pair of shoes, their first set of bangles, their first gift for someone special. Teenagers come in groups, laughing too loudly, dreaming of adulthood. Elderly couples walk slowly, pointing out places that once held bakeries, cafes, toy shops, or music stores. Parents bring children during festivals, allowing them to choose sweets, balloons, or dresses. Generations return, not simply to shop, but to reconnect with past selves. Festival season magic. During Durga Puja, Christmas, Eid, and New Year, New Market transforms. Lights dangle across the corridors. Shops overflow with decorations. Voices turn brighter. Music drifts from stalls. People shop late into the night, exchanging greetings in many languages. New Market becomes not a marketplace, but a festival arena. Where cultures meet, where faiths coexist, where celebration belongs to everyone. A marketplace that is also a museum. Walk through carefully, and you realize New Market is an open-air museum, not curated, not polished, but real. Layers of time coexist. Colonial iron railings, post-independence signboards, neon lights from the 90s, QR code stickers from today. Every scratch on the wall, every faded brick, every patched roof is part of a living exhibit. Unlike museums where objects stay still, New Market breathes. Children run, vendors shout, tea spills, life continues. And that continuity is its greatest heritage. The philosophy of New Market. At its core, New Market symbolizes an idea that commerce can have a soul. Here, buying is not transaction alone. It is relationship. The act of choosing, touching, negotiating, chatting, laughing, all these transform simple shopping into experience. There is something deeply human about it. Something that cannot be entirely replaced by screens, automation, or corporate branding. Architecture. A labyrinth built with intention. To walk through New Market is to move through layers of architectural design that reflect both practicality and the sensibilities of another era. Colonial influence and design. Constructed during the British colonial period, New Market was designed not merely as a shopping space, but as a structured civic center. High ceilings allowed heat to rise. Long corridors created natural ventilation. Arched entrances framed pathways with elegance. Strong brickwork ensured durability. The British wanted order, stalls numbered, spaces segmented, traffic controlled. Yet, over time, Indian traders infused the strict order with vibrant chaos. Colors arrived, textures multiplied, voices filled the emptiness. The marketplace transformed into something more organic, something living. Corridors like rivers. The corridors inside New Market behave like rivers. They divide, they converge, they wind, they deepen. Some lead to quiet corners. Some burst into open intersections. Some dead end suddenly, forcing a turn. Visitors often joke that anyone who enters without a guide will eventually find themselves lost, and strangely happy to be lost. Because every wrong turn offers discovery. A leather shop tucked behind a sweet stall, a flower vendor beside a shoe polisher, a toy seller beside a jewelry counter. The unpredictability becomes the charm. The sound of the market. Architecture is not only seen, it is heard. New market echoes. Footsteps multiply, calls bounce off pillars, conversations overlap. A word spoken in one corner travels far. A song from a nearby radio mixes with laughter. During crowded evenings, the sound almost resembles a sea, waves crashing, retreating, rising again. The building amplifies life. The economic heartbeat. Livelihoods interwoven. To appreciate New Market, one must recognize its economic role. This is not just a shopping complex. It is an ecosystem. Layers of employment. For every shop visible to a customer, there are multiple invisible workers behind it. Shopkeepers, helpers, load carriers, tailors, packers, delivery boys, artisans supplying goods, wholesalers, street vendors outside the gates, electricians, cleaners, maintenance staff. New Market feeds hundreds of families, sometimes entire neighborhoods. A sudden closing, whether due to renovation, natural disaster, or unexpected event, doesn't simply interrupt commerce. It interrupts life. Children's education depends on those daily sales. Medical expenses depend on customers walking through the gate. Weddings, festivals, futures, all tied to cash counters and handwritten ledgers. The art of selling. There is a special skill to being a New Market seller. One must read faces, sense hesitation, estimate budget, measure personality. A good seller knows when to push, when to wait, when to lower the price, and when to insist on value. Some speak 4 or 5 languages to communicate with travelers, students, foreign tourists, and local residents alike. Selling becomes psychology, a soft, intuitive study of human behavior. Trust is currency. In the age of anonymous online transactions, New Market relies on something more fragile and more powerful. Trust. There are customers who have been coming to the same stall for 30 years. No written contract, no formal warranty, only an unspoken understanding. Whatever happens, come back. We'll fix it, quote. And they do. This continuous relationship is the invisible currency that sustains the market. Festivals. New Market at its brightest. New Market thrives all year, but during festivals, it becomes magical. Durga Puja. Weeks before the grand festival, the market enters a special frenzy. Saris glitter under warm lights. Children's dresses fill windows with bright colors. Shoes, bags, cosmetics, jewelry, everything sells faster. Families visit multiple times, once to see, once to compare, once to bargain, once to finally buy. Laughter increases. Disagreements over style turn playful. Tea stalls become temporary meeting points. Outside the market, streets glow with decorations. Inside, each shop seems like a miniature celebration. Eid. During Eid, New Market takes on another layer of beauty. Perfume sellers display attars in delicate glass bottles. Tailors work late into the night stitching new clothes. Sweet shops stay open longer than usual. Customers speak warmly, greet one another, share food, exchange wishes. Faith meets commerce, not as competition, but as harmony. Christmas. Christmas is perhaps New Market's most iconic festival moment. Stalls overflow with stars, bells, candles, Santa hats, and toys. Cakes, plum, fruit, chocolate, sell in remarkable quantities. Carols sometimes drift faintly through the aisles. Families from every religious background come to buy cakes, gifts, cards, lights, and decorations. The market glows with both nostalgia and delight. And the facade, illuminated, looks like something from a vintage postcard. Food, the memory you carry home. You cannot talk about New Market without talking about food. Bakeries and cakes. Some of the city's most beloved bakeries have long associations with New Market. Generations remember. Birthday cakes ordered here, Christmas treats bought from here, tea-time pastries shared after shopping trips. The glass counters filled with bread, buns, patties, and cream rolls invite curiosity and comfort. Street food outside the gates. Beyond the official market perimeter, a world of flavor waits. Fuchka sellers balancing bowls of tamarind water. Kadi roll counters sizzling kebabs on hot tavas. Juice stalls pressing fresh fruit. Tea sellers clinking spoons against cups. People often come not only to shop, but just to eat and observe. Because sitting with a plate of rolls and watching life flow by is, in itself, an unforgettable experience. Conflict, crisis, and survival. No place survives for over a century without hardship. New Market has faced fires, floods, renovations, political unrest, pandemics, economic downturns. Shops burned, stocks destroyed, stalls closed temporarily. And yet, every time, the gates opened again. People swept the floors, repainted the walls, restocked shelves, and continued. There is resilience stitched deep into the brick. Tourism, a bridge between worlds. For tourists, New Market is a cultural classroom. They expect a market. They find a world. They learn how to bargain. They watch cultural exchanges. They discover unfamiliar foods. They collect souvenirs that carry stories. Some tourists say that New Market felt more authentic than museums, because nothing in it is staged. Everything is real, messy, warm, human. A place of firsts and lasts. Many emotional milestones happen here. Firsts. First salary purchase. First sorry. First wedding shopping. First attempt at bargaining. First independent outing with friends. Lasts. Last memory with someone who has passed. Last visit before moving away. Last shop owned by a parent now taken over by children. The market becomes layered with personal timelines, overlapping, intersecting, continuing. The future of New Market. The question arises. Can New Market survive another 100 years? The threats are real. Online retail, urban crowding, infrastructure decay, competition from malls and mega stores. But New Market also possesses strengths. Heritage tourism, deep-rooted emotional value, adaptive traders, community belonging, irreplaceable experience. If preserved carefully, upgraded thoughtfully without losing character, New Market can remain a living monument rather than a fading relic. Restoration, better facilities, improved safety standards, smarter digital integration, all could ensure that younger generations continue to find meaning here. Because ultimately, people don't return just for cheap prices. They return because the market makes them feel alive. The invisible map, how people learn New Market. No one fully understands New Market on their first visit. It is not like a neatly labeled mall. It is more like a living puzzle. Learning through repetition. People learn New Market the way they learn a city. By getting lost, by asking directions, by following instinct, by returning again and again. A newcomer carries confusion. A regular moves with astonishing precision. They know which corner sells the cheapest shoes. They know where the quietest tailor works. They know which bakery's cakes stay soft longest. They know which stall accepts online payments without complaint. Knowledge here is not formal. It is inherited, whispered, shared. Parents teach children. Friends guide friends. Shopkeepers guide loyal customers. Slowly, an inner map forms, one that cannot be printed. The art of asking directions. Asking directions in New Market is a ritual by itself. Someone points vaguely with a hand. Go straight, then take left, then again right, then ask again. Quote. You walk, you turn, you look, you ask again. Every direction leads you deeper, as though the market enjoys gently teasing you before granting what you seek. And when you finally arrive, there is joy in it. Because you did not just buy something. You journeyed. The night face of New Market. People often imagine New Market only during day hours. But evenings reveal another personality. Shutters half closed, lights still glowing. When business slows, some shutters stay half closed, not as a sign of refusal, but as an invitation to cautious, final purchases. Dim bulbs cast warm pools of light. Shopkeepers lean back on stools. Conversations soften. A few customers wander silently, trying to decide whether they truly need one more shawl, one more toy, one more packet of sweets. Outside, food stalls brighten. Steam rises. Voices turn louder. The evening carries a quiet poetry. The silent moment after closing. Then, late at night, when the last shop finally pulls its shutter down, the market rests. No footsteps. No bargaining. No echo. Only locked doors, dim corridors, and the quiet breath of a place that has worked all day. Tomorrow, it will begin again. The human stories beneath commerce. Behind every counter stands a human being with a life beyond the stall. The migrant worker. Some came from villages far away. They arrived to the city with hope, struggle, and the need for survival. New Market offered work. Carrying goods, sweeping floors, helping customers. They saved money slowly. Some eventually opened stalls of their own. For them, New Market is not simply an employer. It is a ladder. The woman entrepreneur. Though historically male dominated, New Market also carries powerful stories of women who stepped forward. Some run boutiques. Some handle accounts. Some supervise workers. Some manage entire businesses independently. They negotiate firmly. They calculate quickly. They stand strong in a crowd. Their presence reshapes the social space, proving that markets are not just for men's control, but shared contribution. The elder who the elder who refuses to retire. Many elderly shopkeepers could have left long ago. Their children work in modern offices. Their families urge them to rest. Yet they continue. Not because they need the money, but because they cannot imagine mornings without the hum of voices, the smell of tea, the familiar greetings. Work becomes identity. New Market becomes home. Education outside schools. Young people learn many life skills here, ones no classroom teaches. Negotiation. They learn to speak confidently. How much? That's too high. Can you reduce? Final price. Quote. Slowly, they lose shyness. They develop awareness. They start understanding value. Observation. They notice differences. Quality vs. Imitation. Fair price vs. Exploitation. Genuine smile vs. Strategic friendliness. Their senses sharpen. Responsibility. Those sent to shop alone feel trusted. They compare, decide, pay, return. It becomes a lesson in independence. Layers of identity. More than just Kolkata. Although deeply tied to Kolkata, New Market also belongs to many worlds. Cosmopolitan heart. You can hear conversations in Bengali, Hindi, English, Urdu, Marwari, sometimes even foreign languages. You see tourists and locals, students and professionals, wealthy customers and budget-conscious families. Every corridor becomes a crossroads of identity. The market is meeting place. Many friendships begin here. People meet for coffee, for cakes, for browsing clothes or simply for walking. The market becomes a public square, informal, lively, democratic. A place where people feel they belong, no matter their background. The smell of time. If memory had a scent, New Market would hold many. Fresh bread, leather, flowers, spices, wet stone after rain, old wood. These smells form emotional triggers. A person returning after years may inhale and instantly remember childhood visits, festival shopping, or the sound of parents negotiating prices. The senses preserve history better than photographs. When technology arrives slowly, technology has reached New Market, but gently. Digital payments. QR code stickers line old wooden counters. A 100-year-old stall now accepts UPI. The transaction is electronic, but the conversation around it remains human. Payment done. Yes. Message came. Okay, take the packet. Quote. Social media sales. Some shopkeepers proudly say, "My customers come from Instagram now." Quote, "They post pictures, answer DMs, ship parcels." Yet they still cherish in-person visits more, because smiles do not travel through screens. Challenges behind the beauty. To romanticize New Market completely would be unfair. It also carries real struggles. Space constraints. Narrow lanes, heavy crowds, limited parking. People squeeze through, bump shoulders, apologize, continue. Maintenance issues. A building so old needs constant care. Leaks during monsoon, electrical wiring repairs, worn out flooring. Sometimes government support is slow. Sometimes responsibility falls on traders themselves. Competition. Malls and online platforms create pressure. Discounts appear, delivery becomes faster, returns are easier. To survive, New Market must emphasize what competitors cannot offer. Experience, personal interaction, trust, story. And so far, it succeeds. Why people keep returning? In the end, the question remains. Why does New Market continue to matter? The answer lies in layers. Because it is history. Because it is memory. Because it is community. Because it feels alive. Because here, buying becomes human connection. People don't just leave with bags. They leave with stories. History in slow motion, reimagining the early days. To understand the present, it helps to imagine the earliest days, when New Market was not yet old, when it was simply new. The birth of a marketplace. When construction began, the surrounding city was still shaping itself. Horse carriages rolled through dusty roads. Gas lamps glowed faintly at night. British officials believed the city needed an organized shopping center, separate from the busy indigenous bazaars. Their intention was control and convenience. But history rarely follows original plans. Soon, local merchants gradually occupied the shops, each bringing not only products, but customs, languages, and traditions. The market began transforming into something deeply Indian, fiercely local, and emotionally rooted. The first wave of shoppers. In those early years, families strolled in carriages or rickshaws. Servants carried baskets. Traders called out in accented English and melodic Bengali. Bakers filled their counters with bread and pastries inspired by Europe. Women examined fabrics thoughtfully while men debated prices. Children stared at toys behind glass cases. Slowly, silently, a ritual formed. Come to New Market, walk, browse, eat, return home with arms full and hearts satisfied. That ritual continues today. The specialized worlds within the market. New Market isn't one single market, it is many tiny markets stitched together. The fabric lanes. In these lanes, color rules everything. Saris shimmer like flowing rivers. Cotton rolls stack in towers. Silk glows softly under hanging bulbs. Shopkeepers unfold fabric dramatically, letting it fall like water. They drape it across counters, across shoulders, sometimes even against the wall, so customers can imagine how it will look in motion. The leather section. Another corner smells richly of leather. Belts, wallets, bags, jackets, travel cases. Artisans cut and stitch with practiced ease. Some pieces travel abroad as souvenirs. Others last in families for years. The leather lanes speak of craftsmanship, durability, and quiet pride. The jewelry corners. Not all jewelry here is precious, but all of it feels special. Gold gleams in glass cases. Silver rests polished and pure. Artificial jewelry sparkles, playful and creative. Young girls experiment with earrings, brides choose bangles, tourists buy trinkets to remember the trip. Jewelry becomes memory, not just decoration. The flower market. Fresh blooms wrap the air with perfume. Garlands for temples, bouquets for celebrations, loose flowers for rituals and offerings. Vendors sit calmly stringing petals with thread, a slow, careful art taught through generations. The site itself feels almost meditative. The psychology of bargaining. Bargaining inside New Market deserves its own study. More than money. On the surface, it is about price. But beneath that, bargaining is about participation, conversation, relationship building, mutual acknowledgement. Both sides play knowing roles. The seller starts high, the buyer starts low, they travel toward the middle. In that journey, humor appears, respect appears, occasional mock anger appears, only to dissolve into smiles. When the deal is done, the final handshake or nod carries satisfaction. Not because the price became perfect, but because both sides felt heard. In that brief exchange, strangers become collaborators. The market during rain. Monsoon changes everything. The sound of rain on old roofs. Raindrops drum against tin and tile. Water flows through narrow spaces. The floor grows damp. Yet, business does not stop. Shops roll tarpaulin sheets. Customers lift garments carefully. Children splash in puddles, laughing. Outside, street vendors cover their stalls with plastic sheets, still selling, still calling out, still surviving. Rain softens the noise, adds rhythm, and creates its own poetry. The sense of belonging. Perhaps the most striking thing about New Market is the feeling of belonging it quietly offers. A place that does not judge. You can walk in wearing expensive clothes or wearing simple, worn-out garments. No one stops you. No one excludes you. Someone somewhere always has something you can afford, if not to buy, then at least to admire. Rich, poor, young, old, all move through the same corridors, breathe the same smells, hear the same echoes. A living public space. In cities, many public spaces slowly disappear under private control. But New Market remains open, shared, busy, unruly, alive. It continues to be one of those rare places where daily life unfolds without filters or rehearsals. When visitors become regulars, a first-time visitor often returns. They say, "I just wanted to take one more look. I felt like walking there again. I missed the atmosphere." Quote. Soon, they discover favorite stalls, favorite snacks, favorite corners. Over time, they no longer feel like outsiders. They become part of the story. Preservation. What should be saved? As modernization progresses, a difficult question arises. What should change, and what must stay? Things that can improve. Certainly, some parts need attention. Better sanitation, safer wiring, stronger maintenance, clearer navigation. Upgrades can, and should, happen. Things that must remain. But some things must never disappear. The human voices, the art of bargaining, the uneven beauty, the sense of discovery, the emotional familiarity. If New Market becomes too polished, too perfect, too controlled, it might lose the very soul that sustains it. Heritage lies not just in walls, but in behavior. A market that teaches patience. In an age of instant delivery and one-click shopping, New Market asks for time, attention, curiosity. You wait while the seller searches for the right size. You try multiple options. You walk from lane to lane. You return, reconsider, decide. In that slowness, something unexpected happens. You notice more, you converse more, you feel more present. The market becomes a gentle reminder that not everything meaningful can be rushed. The market is memory keeper. Markets are not only places where goods exchange hands, they are places where time deposits memories quietly, year after year. Objects that hold stories. Every item sold here carries hidden histories. A sari stitched in a small village travels to New Market, is bought by a mother, worn on festivals, passed down to a daughter. A leather wallet becomes part of someone's everyday life, holding bus tickets, photographs, small handwritten notes. A toy purchased for a child becomes cherished long after the child has grown. Objects outlive moments, and New Market becomes the bridge between them. Souvenirs as emotional anchors. Tourists often pick up small souvenirs. Keychains, handmade jewelry, mini figurines, decorative crafts. Later, when they return home and see these items on shelves or tables, memories flood back. The sound of bargaining, the colorful chaos, the warmth of greetings, the thrill of discovery. The market travels with them, quietly. The language of the market. New Market has its own dictionary, a set of expressions, rhythms, and tones that belong uniquely to it. The seller's voice. The seller uses a special melody. Deccan, Deccan, come, just see, best price, last price. Words slide between languages naturally, half Bengali, half Hindi, sometimes English woven through. The purpose is not only persuasion, it is invitation. A call that says, join the conversation, be part of the movement. The buyer's voice. The buyer's voice carries curiosity, sometimes suspicion, sometimes excitement. How much? Too expensive. Give discount. Fix final price. Quote. But beneath those sentences lies trust. Two strangers negotiate as though they know each other, because, in that moment, they do. Children in New Market. Children see New Market differently from adults. A world of wonder. For children, New Market feels enormous, like a treasure labyrinth. Bright toys, glittering jewelry, sparkling lights, rows of sweets and cakes. They tug their parents' hands, their eyes wide, their excitement barely controlled. For many, their earliest city memory is not a monument or park, it is New Market. Lessons learned early. Children learn how to choose, how to calculate, how to observe, how to behave in crowds. They watch adults bargain, they listen, they imitate, they learn. Slowly, a sense of independence grows, wrapped gently in experience. The seasons of New Market. New Market changes with the seasons, like nature does. Summer. Fans whir loudly, cold drinks sell fast, shops feel warmer, busier, brighter. The air becomes thick with heat, yet people continue moving, talking, buying. Monsoon. Umbrellas crowd entrances, floors glisten with rain, vendors lift everything slightly to protect from water. Life slows only for a moment, then resumes, determined. Winter. Sweaters, shawls, and blankets appear in displays. Bakeries fill with cake buyers. Evening lights feel softer, more nostalgic. Winter evenings in New Market feel like walking through memory, familiar, comforting, quietly joyful. Rituals of shopping. Shopping here is not random, it follows subtle rituals. The walk through. Few people buy immediately. They walk first, they compare, they think, they discuss. Only later do they return to the chosen stall. This process is both practical and poetic, it gives time for reflection and anticipation. The final decision. When someone finally says, pack it. The seller wraps the item carefully, sometimes in old newspapers, sometimes in brown paper, sometimes in plastic, depending on tradition. The act of wrapping becomes symbolic. A moment of care, of closure, of connection. The market beyond economics. Economists might describe New Market as a commercial hub, but they would miss its emotional, psychological, and cultural depth. Social theater. Every day feels like a moving performance. People enter and exit scenes. Roles shift between buyer, seller, advisor, companion. Conversations become scripts. Laughter becomes background music. Those who visit frequently become recurring characters in the ongoing play. Community without formal rules. There are no membership forms here. No official gatherings. No structured clubs. Yet there is community. People help carry heavy bags, they warn about pickpockets, they guide lost strangers, they share water, snacks, directions, advice. The sense of solidarity thrives quietly. Shadows and realities. To be honest, New Market, like any historic marketplace, also has shadows. Overcrowding and chaos. Sometimes, crowds become overwhelming. Noise stretches patience. Heat presses heavily. Movement slows. Yet, Even through discomfort, people remain, because beneath chaos lies familiarity. Small struggles of sellers. Sales do not always go well. Some days bring disappointment, some seasons feel slow, some festivals do not meet expectations. Behind the eager smiles, worries hide: school fees, rent, medical costs. But hope persists, carried forward through resilience and perseverance. The market is teacher of resilience. Perhaps one of the most profound lessons new market offers is resilience. Business through uncertainty. Even during economic crises, even during disasters, even during unexpected closures, people return, repair, rebuild, reopen. They refuse to surrender their identity. The spirit that refuses to fade. Markets survive because people believe in them. And in new market, belief is strong. A quiet, unwavering faith that tomorrow someone will walk through the gate, someone will buy, someone will smile, and life will continue. New market is cultural heritage. In many countries, marketplaces like this have vanished, replaced by sterile shopping zones. Yet here, new market stands proudly, carrying tradition, improvisation, collective memory, urban soul. It is not simply preserved, it is lived. Every day, every transaction, every step taken through its corridors strengthens its legacy. The invisible workforce of new market. Behind every polished shopfront, chilled bakery counter, or glittering jewelry display, there is an unseen world of workers who keep new market alive. Many visitors notice only the visible sellers, the shopkeepers greeting customers, the salesmen measuring fabric, the women carefully arranging cosmetic shelves, but the ecosystem is far larger and more layered. There are porters, carrying cartons on their heads through narrow corridors where even small vehicles cannot pass. There are sweepers who arrive before dawn, cleaning the walkways after the previous night's rush. There are electricians fixing faulty bulbs, plumbers working beneath the tiled floors, security guards checking shutters, and delivery boys zigzagging through traffic to restock stores. Most of these workers have been associated with the market for decades, often through family connections. A porter may say proudly, "My father worked here. My son also works here. New market is our life." Quote. Their bond is not just economic, it is emotional. The rhythm of bargaining, the sound of metal shutters opening, the scent of early morning tea, all form part of their identity. For them, New Market isn't simply a place of employment, it is a living neighborhood, full of relationships, memories, and loyalties. Informal economies within the market. Alongside formal shops with proper bills and receipts, New Market also sustains highly organized informal networks. Street vendors outside sell inexpensive accessories, hair clips, belts, and mobile covers. Tailors set up tiny kiosks promising quick alterations. Key makers operate from portable wooden boxes. Photographers still offer instant passport photos, even in the era of smartphones. This coexistence between formal and informal systems creates a vibrant economic environment. Customers benefit from competitive prices. Workers benefit from steady footfall. Over time, both sides have learned to share space, negotiate disputes, and survive side by side. New market and the language of bargaining. One of the most fascinating aspects of new market is the art of bargaining, a cultural performance in itself. Bargaining here is neither rude nor aggressive. It is almost theatrical, full of expressions, gestures, and humor. A shopkeeper quotes a price. The buyer responds dramatically, "Dada, ain't a key possible. Brother, is that even possible?" Quote closing parenthesis. The seller laughs, lowers the price, adds a discount, includes a free item. Both know the rules. Both expect the dance. For many shoppers, bargaining is entertainment. It gives them satisfaction, a sense of victory. It also builds trust. Once a seller understands a regular customer's style, future negotiations become friendlier and more personal. In fact, bargaining is one of the reasons why people prefer New Market to sterile malls where prices are fixed, interactions are minimal, and everything feels controlled. Here, shopping is conversation. Shopping is storytelling. Memory and nostalgia. New Market through generations. Almost every city has its grand mall or commercial complex, but few places carry the layered nostalgia that New Market does. Parents bring their children and say, "This is where I bought my wedding clothes." Quote, grandparents remember coming here when trams still clang past the crossing. Former students talk about saving pocket money to buy chocolates and cheap perfumes. Couples recall first dates, wandering through alleys while sharing ice cream. Places that store memories become more than markets, they become emotional landmarks. Even when people move abroad, return years later, and discover global brands everywhere, New Market still feels personal and rooted. The walls, though aging, carry whispers of time. The architecture, partly colonial, partly improvised, partly renovated, echoes the long journey of Kolkata itself, resilient, layered, constantly adapting. The rhythm of festivals. During Durga Puja, New Market transforms almost magically. Lights decorate entrances, banners hang overhead, and the corridors overflow with customers buying saris, kurtas, shoes, bags, cosmetics, and decorations. Tailoring shops rush through last-minute orders. Gift shops import special items from across India and beyond. Loudspeakers play festive songs. In December, Christmas brings another wave of joy. The old Anglo-Indian history of the neighborhood becomes visible. Bakeries overflow with pastries, plum cakes, and gingerbread. Artificial Christmas trees stand at every corner. Stalls sell ornaments, bells, ribbons, and Santa masks. The area around New Market, Park Street, and adjacent lanes sparkles with lights. Eid brings its own rhythm. Perfumes, bangles, prayer caps, embroidered clothing. During wedding seasons, jewelers, florists, and garment sellers thrive. Each festival imprints its own colors, sounds, and moods onto the market. The calendar moves. The market breathes with it. Art, photography, and creative inspiration. For artists and photographers, New Market is a gift. The textured walls, dramatic lighting, resting faces of workers, patterned cloths hanging overhead, everything seems visually rich. Many photography students come here for assignments because the market captures human variety, expressions of patience, excitement, fatigue, curiosity, and joy. Street artists sketch corners, entrances, and shop fronts. Writers describe the market as metaphor, a maze of choices, a symbol of urban life, a place where cultures meet. Filmmakers occasionally use the surroundings as shooting locations because few places reflect Kolkata's layers as honestly as New Market does. It is a classroom in motion, where real life becomes a canvas. New Market in the digital age. The arrival of online shopping posed serious challenges. Apps offered home delivery, discounts, and cash backs. Many predicted that traditional markets like New Market would collapse. But instead of fading, New Market adapted in surprising ways. Some shop owners began displaying their collections on social media. Others took orders via WhatsApp. Delivery boys started carrying parcels to distant neighborhoods. A few shops even partnered with e-commerce platforms. Yet, New Market still preserves one crucial advantage: the human connection. No photograph on a screen can truly replace touching fabric, smelling fresh spices, trying on a dress, or hearing a shopkeeper's advice. Rather than disappearing, the market evolved, combining tradition with technology, memory with innovation. Challenges, pressures, and the future. Despite its charm, New Market faces genuine challenges. Crowding sometimes becomes overwhelming. Waste management struggles to keep pace. Fire safety remains a concern in older sections. Competition from malls and mega stores continues. Rising rents pressure small traders. Weather extremes, heavy monsoon rains or intense summer heat, disrupt operations. Urban planners, shop associations, municipal authorities, and local communities must work together to protect both heritage and livelihood. Renovation must respect history while improving safety. Infrastructure needs modernization, better ventilation, organized parking, improved drainage, smarter layout. If managed carefully, New Market can remain both historic and functional, not simply preserved like a museum, but living, breathing, evolving. Why New Market still matters. New Market's importance lies in more than economics. It represents a meeting point of cultures and communities, a living chronicle of the city's past, a hub of creativity, expression, and entrepreneurship, a shared space where strangers interact, laugh, argue, and negotiate. A reminder that cities are built not only by architects but by everyday people. In a world where shopping is becoming increasingly virtual, New Market proves that physical spaces still carry meaning. They hold stories. They nurture relationships. They keep urban identities alive. The people who define New Market. No market exists without the people who animate it. The real heroes of New Market are its residents, shopkeepers, workers, customers, and visitors. Their stories interweave to create a living, breathing urban tapestry. Shopkeepers as custodians of memory. Every stall tells a story. Many shopkeepers are second or third generation owners. Some have inherited business legacies spanning over 70 years. They have witnessed city changes. New roads, colonial structures being replaced, electricity arriving, technology modernizing sales methods. Yet they remain the custodians of intangible heritage. The way prices are negotiated, how merchandise is displayed, how customers are greeted, how the community works together. Their memory preserves more than transactions, it preserves human connections. One elderly cloth merchant often says, "The cloth remembers the hands it passed through, and the market remembers the people who touched it." Quote, migrant workers and dreams. New Market has long served as a landing place for migrants from smaller towns and rural regions. They come with hope, minimal resources, and the desire to build a future. Many start as helpers, carrying goods, cleaning, or assisting shopkeepers. Over time, some open their own stalls, climb the hierarchy, or move into other businesses. For many families, the market is not just livelihood, it is opportunity. Every day is a chance to rise, to learn, to connect. Migrants contribute cultural diversity, linguistic richness, and new skills, reinforcing the market's position as a melting pot of humanity. Children, the future observers. Children often accompany parents, exploring the lanes with curiosity. They watch bargaining closely, touch fabrics, observe jewelry, and sneak peeks at sweets. For many, these experiences shape early social skills, negotiation, patience, decision-making, and understanding human behavior. Some children eventually return as teenagers or adults to work alongside parents, carrying forward the legacy. Architecture is cultural statement. New Market's physical layout reflects layers of history, function, and adaptation. Corridors and lanes. The long corridors and intersecting lanes act like veins, moving the lifeblood of trade through the market. Some corridors are wide and formal, reflecting colonial design intentions, while others are narrow and irregular, shaped by decades of improvisation. Each lane holds specialized vendors. Fabrics, jewelry, flowers, toys, electronics, household goods, and food. Heritage structures. Colonial-era iron railings, high ceilings, and brick facades give the market character. Wooden stalls, slightly worn but meticulously maintained, contrast with glass-fronted shops. Overhead signage, some faded, some modern, tell a story of continuity and adaptation. Every architectural element, from arches to shutter designs, carries historical significance, narrating the city's evolution. Adaptive spaces. Many shopkeepers have modified their stalls creatively, creating small mezzanines, adding shelves, or expanding into neighboring areas. This adaptation ensures maximum use of limited space while maintaining historical integrity. The interplay between structure and improvisation contributes to New Market's unique charm. Sounds, smells, and colors, a multi-sensory experience. New Market is as much sensory as it is spatial. Soundscape. Voices of bargaining, laughter, footsteps, street music, the clink of utensils, and the occasional argument create a dynamic auditory landscape. The market seems to hum constantly, like a living organism communicating through vibration. Aroma. The smells are layered and distinct. Fresh flowers, sizzling snacks, leather, spices, sweets, and occasional incense. During festivals, additional scents of candles, marigold garlands, and sweets fill the air, creating a sensory map that visitors remember long after they leave. Color palette. Colors are striking. Saris in bright reds, yellows, and blues, jewelry sparkling in gold and silver, vegetables and fruits arranged in vibrant displays, shop signs painted in contrasting hues. This visual richness complements the sound and aroma, creating a fully immersive experience. The philosophy of the market. New Market is not merely a physical space, it embodies philosophy and life lessons. Patience and observation. Visitors and sellers alike must exercise patience. Negotiations, waiting for goods to be located, or simply finding a particular shop requires calm. The market teaches people to observe carefully, understand human behavior, and respond thoughtfully. Community and trust. Relationships are crucial. Long-term customers are treated differently, returning buyers are remembered, and disputes are resolved amicably. The market emphasizes trust, empathy, and collaboration over short-term profit. Breaking trust can harm not just individual shops but the ecosystem itself. Tradition and modernity. New Market balances respect for tradition with adaptation to modernity. Digital payments, online catalogs, and delivery services exist alongside century-old practices of cash payment, face-to-face negotiation, and handwritten ledgers. This harmony preserves cultural identity while embracing progress. New Market is cultural crossroads. One of New Market's most unique qualities is its role as a cultural bridge. Linguistic diversity. Languages intermingle naturally. Bengali, Hindi, English, and even foreign phrases. Tourists, students, office workers, and locals converse fluidly. Code switching is common, and communication becomes a blend of commerce and culture. Religious and cultural inclusion. New Market serves communities across faiths and traditions. During festivals like Durga Puja, Eid, and Christmas, everyone participates, buying, selling, observing, or celebrating. The market becomes a shared cultural space where inclusion is unspoken but fundamental. Intergenerational interaction. Older shopkeepers teach younger employees the craft of selling, negotiation, and customer care. Parents bring children, grandchildren accompany elders. Visitors learn patience, respect, and appreciation for heritage. This intergenerational interaction ensures continuity of both commerce and culture. Daily life. Microcosms of humanity. The life of New Market unfolds in countless small vignettes. Morning calm. Before the crowds arrive, shopkeepers prepare displays, arrange merchandise, and sip morning tea. The air is filled with subtle aromas of flowers and baked goods. Conversations are soft, friendly, and deliberate. Midday rush. By noon, the corridors swell. Bargaining intensifies. Customers compare, inspect, discuss. Energy peaks. The market feels alive, a human river moving in multiple directions simultaneously. Evening wind down. As evening approaches, activity slows slightly. Some shoppers linger to finish purchases. Shopkeepers begin closing minor counters while core sections remain active. Street food vendors serve locals and late shoppers. A sense of rhythm returns, preparation for the next day. The layers of history, from inception to modern times. New Market has witnessed the passage of more than a century, and in its bricks, corridors, and stalls lie traces of multiple eras. Its evolution mirrors the transformation of Kolkata itself, politically, socially, and culturally. Colonial foundations. New Market was initially designed during the British colonial period to provide a centralized shopping hub. The British aimed for structure and order, long corridors, numbered stalls, high ceilings, and organized sections. Yet, the very people it was intended to serve reshaped the space. Indian merchants infused it with local character, colors, spices, fabrics, flowers, and personalized service. What began as a utilitarian project became a cultural institution. Post-independence transformation. After India gained independence, New Market became more than a marketplace, it became a symbol of continuity amid rapid change. Partition brought waves of migrants who found livelihoods within its lanes. Families who lost homes and businesses elsewhere established themselves here. Over time, shops became multi-generational, blending old world techniques with contemporary needs. The market evolved in layers. Colonial architecture, traditional Indian merchant practices, and post-independence entrepreneurial spirit coexisting in dynamic tension. Modern adaptations. The arrival of malls, supermarkets, and e-commerce platforms created pressure. But New Market adapted instead of yielding. Shopkeepers embraced digital payments, online catalogs, and social media marketing, without losing the human-centered experience that defines the market. It continues to function as a bridge between history and the present, modern yet steeped in tradition. Economic ecosystem. The lifeblood of New Market. Beyond its cultural and social value, New Market is an economic engine. It sustains thousands of families and supports informal networks that stretch across the city. The multi-tiered workforce. The visible workforce includes shopkeepers, assistants, tailors, florists, and food vendors. The invisible layer encompasses delivery personnel, porters, electricians, cleaners, artisans, and even administrative helpers. Each plays a crucial role in maintaining the flow of goods and services. The market is an ecosystem, where the movement of money, labor, and trust keeps life going. Interdependence among traders. Shopkeepers often collaborate. A sweet shop may guide customers to a nearby flower stall. A cloth vendor may send customers to a tailor within the market. This network of referrals strengthens the market as a collective entity. Competitiveness exists, but cooperation ensures mutual survival, a delicate balance maintained over decades. Informal economies. Street vendors, temporary stalls, and small kiosks add layers of flexibility. They accommodate seasonal spikes, festivals, or tourist influxes. These informal setups coexist alongside structured shops, creating a dynamic, living economy where formal and informal systems blend seamlessly. Personal narratives. Human stories behind the stalls. The soul of New Market lies in the stories of its people. The tailor who became a legend. One tailor, now elderly, is renowned for his precise craftsmanship. His shop is tucked in a quieter corridor, yet people travel across the city to meet him. He keeps handwritten records of client measurements spanning decades, some belonging to customers who are no longer alive. Generations continue to return, trusting his expertise and cherishing the personal connection. The sweet shop that survived crises. A famous sweet shop in New Market has faced fire, floods, and economic downturns. The owner recalls how the shop remained a symbol of celebration. Even during crises, families came to buy sweets for weddings, birthdays, and religious festivals. The shop survived not only because of business acumen, but because it became embedded in collective memory. Women entrepreneurs. Women are increasingly visible in New Market. They manage boutiques, jewelers, food stalls, and administrative tasks. Their presence challenges traditional gender roles, reshapes business practices, and introduces new energy to the market. Many of these women balance family responsibilities while maintaining thriving businesses, embodying resilience and innovation. Festivals and ceremonies. The market is a stage. New Market comes alive during festivals, functioning as both a marketplace and a cultural arena. Durga Puja. Weeks before the festival, shoppers throng the fabric, jewelry, and flower sections. The energy is palpable. Shops display vibrant decorations. Tailors work long hours to deliver festival garments. Families walk slowly, comparing items, tasting sweets, and sharing laughter. Music, lights, and ritual paraphernalia create a multisensory experience that is uniquely Bengali. Eid. During Eid, the market's focus shifts. Perfume shops, embroidered garments, prayer items, and festive foods dominate the corridors. Families and friends shop together, reinforcing social ties. The atmosphere becomes a blend of commerce and celebration, echoing communal harmony. Christmas. Christmas illuminates New Market in a different hue. Bakeries overflow with plum cakes, bread, and pastries. Artificial Christmas trees, decorations, and gift items fill the stalls. Anglo-Indian families and tourists mingle with locals, sharing in a universal festive joy. The market demonstrates how spaces can accommodate multiple cultural identities simultaneously. Sensory geography. Experiencing New Market. Walking through New Market engages every sense. Visual richness. Corridors are saturated with colors. Fabrics in vivid shades, sparkling jewelry, neatly arranged spices, vibrant flowers, and bright signage. The eye moves constantly, discovering details in every corner. Olfactory experience. The air carries layered scents. Jasmine and marigold, leather, baked goods, spices, incense, and wet stone after rain. Each smell evokes memory and emotion, making the market a repository of sensory history. Auditory landscape. Voices of bargaining, laughter, arguments, and advice create a symphony unique to New Market. Footsteps echo, street vendors call, and shopkeepers greet. Even silence, late at night, carries the weight of stories and anticipation for the next day. Taste. Food stalls, bakeries, and confectionaires offer tastes that are integral to the market's identity. Sweets, savory snacks, tea, and fresh juices provide moments of indulgence and memory making. The fabric and clothing lanes, a textile universe. Among the most iconic sections of New Market are the fabric and clothing corridors. Walking through these lanes is like entering a world entirely defined by texture, color, and craftsmanship. Fabrics that tell stories. Saris, lehengas, kurtas, shirts, and scarves fill every shop. Cotton, silk, chiffon, and handloom creations hang in cascading layers. Fabrics arrive from various corners of India. The soft silks of Varanasi, colorful ikats from Odisha, finely woven cottons from Bengal, embroidered motifs from Lucknow. Each bolt carries stories of craftsmanship, history, and regional identity. Shopkeepers handle fabrics with care. A silk sari is unfolded, draped across a counter, sometimes placed gently across a customer's shoulder. The experience is tactile and intimate. Unlike a mall, where items are folded behind glass, here buyers can feel the weave, smell the dye, and test the fabric's flexibility. Bargaining is ritual. The fabric lanes are a theater for the art of negotiation. The seller quotes a price, the customer counters, and a dialogue ensues that mixes wit, subtle persuasion, and observation. Children watch these exchanges with fascination, learning early lessons in social intelligence, negotiation, and human behavior. A seasoned shopkeeper once remarked, "Selling fabric here is not about money. It's about reading people, knowing what they want, and giving them a reason to return." Quote. Jewelry and ornamentation. Glimmers of culture. The jewelry sections of New Market are more than commercial spaces, they are repositories of cultural symbolism. Gold, silver, and imitation. Gold chains, silver bangles, gemstone rings, and artificial ornaments fill glass counters. The sparkle of jewelry is complemented by careful arrangement. Necklaces drape like waterfalls, earrings hang like tiny lanterns, bracelets shimmer under soft lighting. Some pieces are handcrafted, passed down through artisan families for generations. Tourists often linger here, fascinated by intricate designs. Locals, meanwhile, seek both daily wear and ceremonial adornment. Jewelry purchases often coincide with weddings, religious ceremonies, and festivals, making these sections emotionally charged spaces. Stories behind every piece. In many stalls, shopkeepers know the story behind each item. A necklace might be inspired by a Mughal design, a bangle may replicate patterns from rural Bengal. Patrons are not just buying ornaments, they are acquiring fragments of culture and history. Street food and culinary corners, the taste of memory. No visit to New Market is complete without experiencing its street food and culinary diversity. Iconic vendors. Outside the main entrances, fuchka pani puri sellers, kati roll vendors, and juice stalls thrive. The air is rich with smells: tamarind, fried spices, fresh coriander, and sizzling meat. Bakeries serve cream-filled pastries, traditional Bengali sweets, and aromatic cakes that travelers remember long after leaving the city. Rituals of eating. Food is consumed slowly, often standing near the stall. Children grab a bite, elders share small plates, and groups of friends debate which vendor is best. The culinary landscape is democratic. Luxury and budget options exist side by side, creating an inclusive gastronomic ecosystem. Food is social glue. Eating in New Market is not only about hunger, it is about observation, conversation, and shared experience. A bite of fuchka becomes an opportunity to chat, laugh, and connect with strangers. Sweets bought for festivals become tokens of communal joy. The Flower Market, a fragrant chronicle. Flowers in New Market are not just decoration, they carry ritual, celebration, and emotion. Freshness and variety. Marigolds, jasmine, roses, orchids, and seasonal blooms fill stalls in vibrant displays. Garlands for religious ceremonies, bouquets for weddings, and loose flowers for daily offerings create a constant visual and olfactory feast. Crafting moments. Vendors skillfully string garlands or arrange bouquets with delicate hands. Each creation is temporary yet meaningful, meant to celebrate moments, honor traditions, or brighten homes. The flower lanes provide meditative calm amidst the bustling chaos, blending commerce with artistry. Electronics and miscellaneous sections. Modern necessities. New Market also houses electronics, household goods, and miscellaneous stalls. Chargers, earphones, kitchen tools, stationery, and small appliances share space with traditional shops. These sections illustrate adaptability. While preserving tradition in fabrics, jewelry, and sweets, the market embraces modern needs. Buyers find convenience alongside heritage, a blending of old and new that defines New Market's character. Architecture and urban planning. A historical layer cake. New Market's design is a living narrative of urban history. Colonial framework. High ceilings, brick walls, arched entrances, and symmetrical corridors reflect British-era planning. Numbered stalls and structured lanes allowed for organization. Ventilation was built in as a functional necessity, yet inadvertently created open, airy spaces that contributed to comfort. Organic growth. Over decades, the market expanded organically. Narrow alleys were added, mezzanine levels improvised, and signage evolved. Stalls were modified to maximize display space. Some areas became informal extensions, creating a labyrinthine experience that keeps visitors exploring and discovering. Adaptation and preservation. Urban planners and heritage committees have grappled with balancing safety and authenticity. Fireproofing, electrical upgrades, and drainage improvements coexist with the original brickwork and iron railings. New Market demonstrates how historical architecture can evolve without losing identity. Social anthropology. New Market is a microcosm. New Market is a lens into the city's sociology. Class interactions. People from all social classes coexist. Students, office workers, domestic helpers, business owners, and tourists. Shared spaces facilitate interaction across economic divides. Bargaining, conversation, and observation become common ground. Gender roles and change. While male shopkeepers historically dominated, women increasingly manage stalls, finances, and marketing. This shifts dynamics, introducing new perspectives and strategies while preserving continuity. Rituals of daily life. Repeated behaviors, morning tea, arranging merchandise, bargaining, cleaning stalls, and preparing food, constitute rituals. Anthropologists might consider New Market a living lab of human behavior, social cohesion, and cultural adaptation. Perfect. Let's continue. Now we'll delve deeper into visitor experiences, social interactions, urban pressures, preservation challenges, and philosophical reflections, all in vivid, immersive detail. This will add substantial word count and richness. The visitor experience. Walking through New Market. Visiting New Market is rarely a passive activity. Each person experiences the market differently, yet all share common rhythms and emotions. First-time visitors. For newcomers, the market can feel overwhelming. Narrow lanes, dense crowds, and unfamiliar shop layouts create sensory overload. Children tug at parents, pointing at colorful items. Tourists fumble with currency. First-time buyers negotiate hesitantly. Despite the chaos, curiosity dominates. Shoppers pause to admire fabrics, inspect jewelry, or taste street food. The process of exploration, discovery, and cautious engagement teaches patience. By the end of the first visit, most newcomers experience a sense of accomplishment and anticipation for a second visit. Regular patrons. For repeat visitors, New Market transforms into a semi-familiar territory. They know which stalls have the best deals, which vendors are trustworthy, and which corridors to avoid during peak hours. Patterns emerge. Certain shops are reserved for specific items, shortcuts are memorized, and friendly greetings replace formal introductions. For regulars, visiting New Market is a blend of shopping and ritual. The walk through familiar lanes becomes a meditative act, a reaffirmation of belonging, and a celebration of continuity. Stories in motion, encounters and interactions. New Market is more than architecture and merchandise, it is defined by human interactions. Every day unfolds a series of micro-dramas, performances, and shared experiences. The bargaining dance. Bargaining is a performance of wit, patience, and psychology. Sellers quote prices, buyers counter with strategy, and both sides engage in playful verbal sparring. The dance strengthens social bonds. Mutual respect, humor, and understanding emerge from these exchanges. Friendships and community. Some interactions transcend commerce. Regular customers and shopkeepers develop genuine friendships. Children grow up visiting the same stalls, forming bonds with vendors. During festivals, the market becomes a communal space, blurring distinctions between personal, professional, and public spheres. Unexpected encounters. New Market often surprises visitors with serendipitous meetings. Someone may encounter an old friend from school, a former colleague, or even a long-lost relative in a corridor. Strangers strike up conversations about products, festivals, or city life. These chance interactions contribute to the market's dynamic social fabric. The market and urban challenges. Despite its vibrancy, New Market faces multiple urban pressures. These challenges highlight the need for careful planning, community engagement, and preservation strategies. Overcrowding. Narrow corridors and increasing foot traffic create congestion. During festivals, crowd density can pose safety hazards. Movement becomes slow, personal space diminishes, and emergency access can be compromised. Infrastructure strains. A building over a century old requires continuous maintenance. Leaks, electrical failures, drainage issues, and worn-out flooring threaten daily operations. Shopkeepers often address minor issues themselves, but large-scale renovations require coordination with authorities, a slow, bureaucratic process. Competition from modern retail. Shopping malls, branded stores, and e-commerce platforms compete directly with New Market. While digital convenience appeals to younger generations, New Market retains an edge through personal service, bargaining culture, and cultural authenticity. Adapting without losing identity is a delicate balance. Preservation and future directions. Maintaining New Market as a functional, safe, and culturally vibrant space requires foresight and collaboration. Architectural conservation. Heritage structures need restoration that respects original designs while ensuring modern safety standards. Brickwork, iron railings, wooden stalls, and roofs must be preserved alongside upgraded wiring, fire prevention systems, and better lighting. Cultural preservation. Beyond physical structures, intangible heritage, bargaining styles, festival rituals, vendor-customer relationships must be preserved. Workshops, oral history projects, and documentation can maintain traditions for future generations. Sustainable urban planning. City authorities, traders, and communities must collaborate on waste management, crowd control, drainage, and accessibility. Thoughtful planning ensures that modernization does not erase the market's soul. Philosophy of New Market: time, memory, and continuity. New Market is more than commerce, it embodies profound philosophical lessons. Time and continuity. Walking through the market feels like traversing layers of time. Colonial architecture meets post-independence improvisation. Generations of families, both vendors and patrons, leave imprints of memory. The market teaches that human spaces are repositories of temporal layers, past, present, and future intertwined. Memory and emotion. New Market carries collective memory. Scent of spices, sound of laughter, sight of familiar stalls, taste of street food, all evoke nostalgia. Visitors' emotional engagement transforms shopping into storytelling. Every purchase, every interaction, becomes part of an unfolding historical narrative. Human connection. In an increasingly digital world, New Market reminds people that commerce is human at its core. Negotiation, conversation, observation, trust, and empathy define transactions. The market is not just an economic space, it is a living testament to relational intelligence. Festivals and temporal rhythm. Market is seasonal organism. The heartbeat of New Market is attuned to festivals, seasons, and urban rhythms. Durga Puja. Lanes overflow with fabrics, jewelry, and flowers. Music, lights, and cultural performances blend with commercial activity. Eid. Perfumes, embroidered garments, sweets, and prayer items dominate. Shopping is social, celebratory, and inclusive. Christmas. Bakeries, decorations, artificial trees, and gifts create an Anglo-Indian festive flavor. Weddings and local celebrations. Specialized stalls for gifts, sweets, and ceremonial attire activate, demonstrating the market's adaptive seasonal economy. Through these temporal cycles, New Market teaches that urban spaces are living organisms, changing, responding, and thriving according to collective human needs and emotions. At this point, the essay now deeply covers history and evolution, people and stories. Shop-specific sections: fabric, jewelry, food, flowers, electronics. Closing parenthesis. Sensory and emotional experiences. Urban challenges and preservation. Philosophy and temporal rhythm. Portraits of individual shops. Microcosms of human endeavor. Walking through New Market, one realizes that every shop is a universe of its own. Behind the products lie human stories, creative effort, and generational knowledge. The Handloom Sari Shop. One corner of New Market is dominated by a family-run handloom sari shop. The shopkeeper, now in his late 60s, inherited the stall from his father. Rolls of silk and cotton, each dyed in vivid colors, line the shelves. Every week, new consignments arrive from artisans in Varanasi and Murshidabad. Customers are treated like guests rather than buyers. The shopkeeper spreads a sari carefully, explaining the origin of patterns, the weave's durability, and tips for draping. He often recalls stories of brides and festivals, creating an emotional connection. For many regulars, visiting this shop is not just shopping, it is a ritual of memory and trust. The Artisan Jewelry Stall. In another lane, a small stall specializes in silver and gold-plated jewelry. The shop is run by a young woman who learned the craft from her grandmother. Intricate designs adorn necklaces, earrings, and bangles. What sets this stall apart is storytelling. Each piece is associated with a regional tale, myth, or festival. Customers, especially tourists, buy not just jewelry but fragments of history and culture. The artisan often sketches a quick design or explains the symbolism behind a motif, a blend of commerce and pedagogy. The sweet shop that defines celebration. A well-known sweet shop has operated continuously for more than 50 years. Its shelves overflow with traditional Bengali sweets, Rosogala, Sandesh, Mishti Doi, and Kaju Katli. The aroma is inviting, almost hypnotic. Families buy sweets for festivals, weddings, and daily indulgence. Shopkeepers know regular customers by name and recall their preferences. Every packet is wrapped with care, often accompanied by a friendly greeting. Here, selling food becomes an act of relationship building, an essential human connection. The social microcosm, observing human behavior. New Market is a living social laboratory. Walking through its corridors reveals a complex web of human interactions. Social stratification and interaction. Visitors range from wealthy tourists to daily wage earners. The market accommodates both seamlessly. A student bargaining for a cheap notebook walks past a high-spending family purchasing silk saris. The interactions are democratic, fluid, and largely respectful. These exchanges reveal social learning. Young observers internalize negotiation, patience, empathy, and observation. Visitors adapt their behavior to context, learning subtle cues of respect, trust, and social etiquette. Gender dynamics. While historically dominated by male shopkeepers, women are increasingly prominent, managing shops, handling accounts, or leading entire sections. Their presence challenges traditional roles and brings fresh perspectives to business practices, customer engagement, and market governance. Women customers also navigate the market differently. They observe fabrics meticulously, ask detailed questions, and assert bargaining skillfully. Gender becomes part of the social fabric, both shaping and being shaped by the market. Intergenerational learning. Children accompany parents, watch bargains, and sometimes even interact with vendors. Teenagers may help in stalls, learning responsibility. Elderly shopkeepers teach newcomers subtle techniques, from folding fabric to addressing customers politely. This continuous intergenerational exchange preserves both skill and culture. Economic networks and trade patterns. New Market is more than a cluster of shops, it is a sophisticated economic ecosystem. Supply chains. Merchants source products from across India, silks from Varanasi, spices from Malabar, jewelry from Jaipur, sweets from local confectionaires, and electronics from Kolkata wholesalers. Supply chains operate with precision, often coordinated by long-standing personal networks rather than formal logistics companies. Microcredit and informal finance. Many shopkeepers rely on informal financial arrangements, loans from community lenders, partnerships among traders, and mutual credit agreements. These systems enable small businesses to thrive despite limited access to formal banking or fluctuating sales. Employment impact. Thousands of individuals, directly or indirectly, depend on New Market for livelihood. Shopkeepers, assistants, delivery personnel, artisans, cleaners, porters, and food vendors. The market sustains multi-generational families and stabilizes the local economy. Urban sociology. The market is a civic space. New Market functions as a public space that transcends commerce. Public interaction. People gather not only to buy but also to socialize. Friends meet, families stroll, couples explore, and tourists observe. The market provides opportunities for unplanned, informal socialization, fostering community cohesion. Informal governance. Despite its chaotic appearance, the market operates under an informal code of conduct. Shopkeepers maintain order, assist lost visitors, and mediate disputes. Visitors respect norms, patience in queues, politeness in bargaining, and awareness of space constraints. Festivals as social integrators. During major festivals, New Market becomes a stage where social and cultural inclusion manifests visibly. People of different religions, castes, and socio-economic backgrounds participate in shared celebration, creating a microcosm of harmonious urban life. Philosophical reflections. Markets as mirrors of society. New Market offers lessons beyond shopping. It is a mirror of human life, values, and resilience. The passage of time. Walking through its corridors is like traversing decades. Shutters, wooden stalls, and iron railings narrate history silently. Generations of families, both buyers and sellers, have left traces, Stories embedded in walls, in worn floor tiles, in familiar greetings. Memory and identity. Scent, sound, and sight evoke nostalgia. The smell of sweets or leather can trigger childhood memories. Observing familiar vendors reminds visitors of continuity. These sensory experiences connect people to personal and collective identity. Human connection. In an age dominated by digital interactions, New Market emphasizes the human element, negotiation, storytelling, observation, empathy. Transactions are relationships, commerce is communication, and buying is a social act. At this point, the essay now thoroughly covers historical evolution and architecture, shop-specific narratives, fabrics, jewelry, sweets, street food and flowers, social anthropology and visitor behavior. Behavior. Economic networks and employment. Festivals, rituals, and seasonal rhythms. Philosophical reflections on memory, identity, and human connection. Comparative perspectives. New Market in a global context. While New Market is unique to Kolkata, it shares features with historic marketplaces worldwide. Comparing it to others illuminates both its singularity and its universal qualities. Historical markets around the world. Grand Bazaar, Istanbul, Turkey. Known for its labyrinthine corridors, textiles, spices, and jewelry, it also balances tradition with tourism. Like New Market, it thrives on personal interaction, sensory richness, and multi-generational vendors. Souks of Marrakesh, Morocco. These markets emphasize vibrant color, smell, and bargaining culture. They are spaces where artisans display craft, tourists haggle, and daily life unfolds in layers. Borough Market, London, UK. While more formalized and modern, it reflects an emphasis on quality, food, and specialty products. Its organization contrasts with New Market's organic, chaotic charm. Distinctive features of New Market. Unlike many global markets that have been commercialized or sanitized for tourism, New Market retains organic layout. Corridors and alleys evolved naturally rather than following a rigid plan. Cultural layering. Colonial architecture coexists with local artisan practices. Community integration. Vendors, workers, and visitors form a living community, not a transactional system. Sensory immersion. Smells, sounds, textures, and colors blend into a unique, immersive experience. This combination makes New Market not merely a shopping destination but a cultural institution, a microcosm of urban life in Kolkata. Modernization pressures and adaptation. As Kolkata urbanizes, New Market faces challenges from both physical infrastructure demands and socio-economic change. Physical and environmental pressures. Overcrowding. Increasing footfall strains corridors and entrances, particularly during festivals. Sanitation and waste. Litter, wet floors, and food remnants create health concerns. Aging structures. Roofs, shutters, and wiring require constant maintenance to prevent accidents. Technological pressures. E-commerce competition. Digital platforms offer convenience and discounts, creating pressure on traditional pricing. Digital payments. Transitioning from cash to online transactions requires adaptation, especially for older shopkeepers. Adaptation strategies. New Market has demonstrated resilience by offering personalized service that online platforms cannot replicate. Establishing social media presence for marketing. Integrating digital payment systems while retaining the tactile shopping experience. Hosting seasonal events and festival promotions that combine commerce with cultural celebration. The balance between modernization and preservation remains delicate but essential. Migrant communities and market livelihoods. New Market is home to generations of migrant workers whose lives are intertwined with its corridors. Stories of migration. Many shopkeepers and assistants originated from small towns and villages in Bengal, Bihar, Odisha, and beyond. They arrived seeking opportunity, often starting as helpers or apprentices. Over decades, They built stable livelihoods, sometimes opening their own stalls. Cultural contributions. Migrant communities bring diverse languages, culinary traditions, textile knowledge, and artisanal skills. They enrich the market with multiplicity, festival celebrations, food stalls, craft styles, and customer service methods. Their presence demonstrates how urban spaces can absorb and integrate newcomers, creating hybrid cultural landscapes. Challenges faced. Migrants often navigate difficult circumstances: high rents, irregular income, competition, and limited formal social support. Despite this, New Market provides an informal safety net through networks of colleagues, loyal customers, and generational knowledge transfer. Women entrepreneurs, shaping the market's future. Women's participation in New Market has grown significantly, altering both commerce and culture. Leadership and ownership. Women now manage clothing boutiques, jewelry stalls, confectionaries, and flower shops. Some inherited family businesses, while others established independent enterprises. Their presence introduces new organizational strategies, marketing approaches, and customer engagement methods. Balancing roles. Many women juggle household responsibilities alongside business management. Their dual roles reflect resilience, multitasking skill, and adaptability. Their participation also inspires younger generations to envision broader possibilities for women in commerce. Cultural impact. Women entrepreneurs contribute to the social texture of the market. They enhance customer service, mentor assistants, maintain decorum, and participate actively in festival preparations. Their growing visibility signals both empowerment and evolving societal norms. Future prospects. Preservation, modernization, and identity. New Market's survival depends on foresight, collaboration, and respect for heritage. Urban planning and infrastructure. City authorities, traders, and heritage committees must collaborate to ensure safe, accessible corridors, improve waste management and sanitation, upgrade electrical systems and fire safety, preserve architectural integrity while integrating modern conveniences. Cultural preservation. The market's intangible heritage, bargaining techniques, festival rituals, and artisan knowledge must be documented, taught, and celebrated. Initiatives could include oral history projects with longtime vendors, training programs for young artisans, guided tours emphasizing cultural and historical significance, philosophical reflection. New Market embodies continuity, resilience, and relational intelligence. Its corridors teach lessons about patience, negotiation, trust, and communal life. Its future depends on balancing economic viability with cultural and social responsibility. New Market is a living chronicle. Ultimately, New Market is more than commerce, it is a chronicle of Kolkata's evolving identity. Historical layers. Colonial architecture, post-independence improvisation, and modern adaptations coexist. Cultural layers. Festivals, rituals, language, and community engagement create a complex cultural fabric. Human layers. Shopkeepers, workers, migrants, women entrepreneurs, children, and visitors shape an ever-changing, vibrant social ecosystem. New Market demonstrates that marketplaces are not merely spaces of trade. They are repositories of memory, centers of human connection, and stages where life unfolds in miniature dramas every day. We've now thoroughly covered historical and architectural evolution, shop-specific stories and artisan portraits, street food, flowers, and sensory immersion, economic networks and employment, social anthropology and visitor behavior, festivals and seasonal rhythms, migration, women entrepreneurs, and community dynamics, modernization pressures and preservation strategies, comparative global perspectives, philosophical reflections on memory, identity, and continuity, seasonal life in New Market, a year in microcosm. New Market is not static, its rhythm follows the seasons, festivals, and urban calendar. Each month brings subtle changes in atmosphere, commerce, and human behavior. Winter, December, February. Winter in New Market is a sensory delight. Cool breezes filter through corridors, making the dense spaces more comfortable. Clothing lanes. Woolens, shawls, jackets, and hand-knitted scarves dominate. Shoppers inspect fabrics closely, seeking warmth and style. Festive celebrations. Christmas decorations and gift items create a European flavor. Bakeries overflow with plum cakes and pastries. Visitors enjoy the aroma of freshly baked treats mingling with spices and incense. Footfall patterns. Crowds are moderate but consistent. Families stroll leisurely, children sample sweets, and shopkeepers maintain a calm, welcoming rhythm. Spring, March, May. Spring brings vibrancy and renewal. Fabrics reflect pastel shades and floral patterns. Fresh flowers dominate stalls, and the market feels rejuvenated after winter. Seasonal goods. Lighter fabrics, cotton saris, and spring dresses are popular. Perfumes and cosmetics gain attention as weddings and social events rise. Street food. Seasonal fruits and juices become highlights. Mango pulp, lychee, and fresh smoothies bring bursts of flavor and color. Tourist engagement. Visitors from across India and abroad explore corridors for gifts and souvenirs, combining shopping with cultural observation. Monsoon, June, September. The monsoon adds moisture, smell, and occasional chaos to New Market. Rainwater seeps through older sections, creating minor challenges for vendors. Adaptation. Plastic sheets, makeshift covers, and tarpaulin protect merchandise. Foot traffic slows during heavy rains but surges afterward. Sensory changes. Wet stone, rain-soaked flowers, and incense mingle with the aroma of wet leather and fabric dyes. The air is thick, humid, and evocative. Festival preparation. Monsoon often coincides with wedding seasons. Tailors, florists, and sweet makers work tirelessly to meet high demand. Autumn, October, November. Autumn is perhaps the most vibrant season. Durga Puja dominates the calendar, bringing energy, excitement, and heightened activity. Fabric lanes. Traditional red, gold, and orange saris surge in demand. Shopkeepers work extra hours to meet wedding and festive orders. Flower sections. Marigolds, jasmine, and chrysanthemums flood stalls. Artisans prepare garlands for puja ceremonies and home decorations. Crowds and energy. The market is alive from morning to late evening. Bargaining becomes theatrical, laughter echoes, and the rhythm reaches its peak. Day in the life narratives. Multi-layered perspectives. Walking through New Market at different times of the day reveals its social and operational microcosms. Dawn. The preparatory hour. Before the market officially opens, workers arrive. Porters carry goods, shopkeepers organize stalls, electricians check wiring, and cleaners sweep corridors. The air carries the scent of fresh flowers and tea brewing. Early risers sip chai, discuss the day ahead, and exchange news, a quiet, purposeful rhythm. Morning. Opening and engagement. Shutters rise, the first customers appear, and interactions begin. Fabrics are displayed, jewelry counters polished, and street food prepared. Negotiations start slowly, often serving as a warm-up for the day's intensity. Midday. Peak activity. Crowds swell. Students, office-goers, families, and tourists converge. Lanes narrow as foot traffic increases. Vendors adjust displays, call out offers, and negotiate prices. Street food vendors serve quick bites, while flower sellers weave garlands under constant demand. The market pulses like a living organism. Evening. Wind down and reflection. Activity gradually slows. Some customers linger, finishing purchases, sampling sweets, or chatting with familiar vendors. Shopkeepers tally sales, restock items, and plan for the next day. The air cools, and lights cast warm glows across corridors, transforming New Market into a space of quiet reflection, anticipation, and human connection. Festivals in microcosm, experiencing cultural layers. Durga Puja. Visuals. Bright fabrics, golden jewelry, marigold garlands, and puja-specific items fill stalls. Sounds. Traditional dhak drums, festive songs, laughter, and bargaining voices merge into a symphony. Social dynamics. Families, friends, and tourists mingle, crossing socio-economic boundaries. Vendors greet customers like extended family members. Eid. Visuals. Embroidered kurtas, festive clothes, prayer caps, and colorful sweets dominate. Sounds. Arabic and Bengali greetings, playful bargaining, and children's laughter echo. Social dynamics. The market embodies inclusivity, as all communities participate in shared celebration. Christmas. Visuals. Artificial Christmas trees, decorations, gift items, and bakery displays create festive charm. Sounds. Carols, chatter, and laughter fill the air. Social dynamics. The market becomes a space of cross-cultural interaction, blending Anglo-Indian traditions with local practices. Weddings and local celebrations. Visuals. Bridal saris, jewelry, flowers, and gifts flood stalls. Sounds. Haggling, advice, and celebration intermingle. Social dynamics. Vendors collaborate, referrals circulate, and multi-generational interactions intensify. Philosophical reflection. Markets as temporal mirrors. New market serves as a living chronicle of human life and urban evolution. Continuity. Generations of vendors and customers maintain traditions while embracing change. Memory. Every corridor, aroma, and sound preserves personal and collective history. Human connection. The market exemplifies relational intelligence, patience, empathy, negotiation, and social learning. Identity. It reflects Kolkata's layered identity, colonial history, post-independence resilience, cultural multiplicity, and urban creativity. At this stage, the essay has now incorporated year-round seasonal rhythms, day-in-the-life narratives from multiple perspectives. Perspectives. Microcosms of festivals and celebrations. Deeper philosophical reflection on continuity, memory, and urban identity. Multi-generational families. Legacy of New Market. Many shops in New Market are not just businesses, they are family legacies, passed down across generations. Walking through the corridors, one sees families intertwined with the market's very identity. The Textile Dynasty. One textile stall has been owned by the same family for over 80 years. The grandfather started as a small trader during the colonial era, selling hand-woven fabrics to local households. His son expanded the stall, introducing silk saris from Murshidabad and Varanasi. Today, the grandson manages the shop, integrating digital catalogs and online orders while maintaining the traditional personal touch. Cultural preservation. They preserve folding techniques, draping styles, and bargaining etiquette that have been taught for generations. Economic adaptation. Digital payment systems, online orders, and social media marketing coexist with face-to-face negotiation. Identity. Customers feel connected not just to the product but to the family's history. The confectioner's legacy. A sweet shop run by a three-generation family exemplifies emotional commerce. The grandfather created recipes for Rosogala and Sandesh in the 1950s. His son expanded production during festivals. Now the granddaughter manages the shop, introducing modern packaging and delivery while preserving traditional flavors. Continuity. Recipes remain unchanged, preserving cultural taste. Innovation. Modern packaging, online delivery, and seasonal sweets cater to younger customers. Community. Families celebrate life events through the sweets sold here, reinforcing relational and social bonds. The jewelry custodians. A silver jewelry shop has remained in one family for over 60 years. Each generation learned craft, customer service, and storytelling. Tourists often linger, not just buying jewelry but listening to tales of artisans and cultural motifs. Transmission of skill. Craft knowledge passes orally and through hands-on apprenticeship. Storytelling. Jewelry is marketed as cultural narrative, not mere ornamentation. Heritage and identity. Patrons appreciate both the design and the living history it represents. Microeconomics. The financial ecosystem of New Market. New Market operates as a sophisticated microeconomy with multiple interdependent layers. Supply chains and networks. Merchants source goods from across India. Textiles. Silks from Varanasi, cotton from Bengal villages, ikats from Odisha. Jewelry. Gemstones from Jaipur, silver from Rajasthan, gold-plated ornaments locally crafted. Food. Spices, sweets, and seasonal produce sourced regionally. These supply chains are coordinated through informal networks, relying on trust, repeat business, and personal relationships rather than strict corporate logistics. Informal credit and finance. Many small shopkeepers operate on informal credit systems. Long-standing relationships with suppliers, community lenders, and fellow vendors enable survival during lean periods. Mutual support. Vendors lend money to each other during festival seasons or slow months. Trust-based systems. Reputation often replaces formal contracts. Resilience. These informal systems allow small businesses to thrive despite fluctuating income or market pressures. Employment and economic impact. Thousands of people depend on New Market. Shopkeepers, assistants, porters, cleaners, artisans, and street food vendors. Many families' livelihoods rely entirely on market operations. The market also drives secondary economic activity, logistics, transport, packaging, and festival preparation. Cultural resilience. New Market is a living archive. New Market preserves not only commerce but cultural practices. Festivals and rituals. Festivals bring the market alive, blending business and tradition. Durga Puja. Decorative items, fabrics, jewelry, and sweets dominate stalls. Eid. Embroidered clothing, perfumes, and celebratory foods fill corridors. Christmas. Gift items, decorations, and baked goods create a festive Anglo-Indian atmosphere. The market adapts to each festival seamlessly, reflecting both inclusion and flexibility. Oral traditions and storytelling. Vendors narrate histories of crafts, family legacies, and regional lore. Children accompanying parents absorb these narratives, preserving intangible culture across generations. Human connectivity. New Market emphasizes relationships. Long-term customer-vendor bonds. Apprenticeships for younger generations. Mutual assistance among vendors during crises or festivals. These social practices form a resilient cultural network that modern retail spaces often lack. Individual vendor stories. Microcosms of human life. The tailor who became a mentor. An elderly tailor, once a migrant worker, now teaches apprentices. He remembers measurements from decades ago and retains relationships with families across generations. Students learn craft, discipline, and negotiation alongside sewing. The street food innovator. A Kadi roll vendor, originally selling simple fare, experimented with spices, sauces, and presentation. His creativity attracted a loyal customer base and inspired fellow vendors to innovate. The story demonstrates adaptability is central to New Market's longevity. The flower seller is cultural historian. A flower vendor recalls festivals from his childhood, describing changes in floral preferences, garland styles, and ceremonial practices. He educates customers while conducting business, showing that commerce and culture coexist intimately. Philosophical reflections. Markets as mirrors of human society. New Market teaches lessons beyond economics. Time and memory. The market embodies temporal layers, colonial history, post-independence adaptation, and modern integration. Human connection. Face-to-face transactions, storytelling, and negotiation cultivate empathy and social intelligence. Cultural continuity. Multi-generational families preserve craft, festival traditions, and oral narratives. Urban identity. The market reflects Kolkata's identity as a city of resilience, diversity, and cultural layering. At this stage, the essay now thoroughly incorporates colon, multi-generational family narratives, extended vendor and artisan stories, microeconomic structures and supply chains, cultural resilience and human connection, detailed festival and seasonal rhythms, philosophical reflections on time, memory, and identity, comparative global perspectives, lessons from historical markets. New market, while uniquely Kolkata, shares traits with historic markets worldwide, revealing universal lessons about urban culture, commerce, and community. The Grand Bazaar, Istanbul, Turkey. The Grand Bazaar, one of the oldest and largest markets in the world, exemplifies intricate architecture, multi-generational traders, and immersive sensory experience. Similarities with New Market include bargaining culture. Negotiation is central to the shopping experience, fostering social interaction and skill building. Cultural layering. Historical architecture coexists with modern commerce. Community networks. Traders often belong to family guilds, passing skills and relationships through generations. However, New Market differs in its informal vibrancy. While the Grand Bazaar has been extensively tourist-oriented, New Market maintains a balance between local utility and cultural preservation. Souks of Marrakesh, Morocco. The Marrakesh souks highlight artistry, color, and craftsmanship, similar to New Market's textiles, jewelry, and artisanal food. Lessons for New Market include spatial adaptation. Organic layout of alleys encourages exploration and discovery. Sensory engagement. Colors, smells, and sounds immerse visitors in cultural experience. Human-centered commerce. Sellers often educate and narrate stories about their craft, adding value beyond the product. Borough Market, London, UK. Borough Market focuses on quality food, artisanal goods, and curated experience. While more formalized, it offers insight into modern integration. Combining traditional vendors with contemporary expectations, sanitation, branding, digital marketing. Cultural tourism. Visitors engage with food and heritage, learning cultural practices alongside commerce. Key takeaways for New Market. Preserve organic vibrancy while incorporating safety, hygiene, and modernization. Strengthen cultural storytelling alongside commerce. Foster generational knowledge and apprenticeships as part of identity preservation. Urban planning reflections. Preserving function and heritage. New Market's dense corridors, aging architecture, and high foot traffic present both challenges and opportunities for urban planners. Challenges. Overcrowding. Corridors are narrow, particularly during festivals, creating safety concerns. Infrastructure decay. Electrical wiring, drainage, and roofing require continuous attention. Modernization pressure. Malls, online retail, and branded stores compete with traditional commerce. Opportunities. Adaptive reuse. Historical architecture can be preserved while improving structural safety. Pedestrian-friendly design. Clearly demarcated pathways, signage, and emergency access can enhance visitor experience. Festival management. Temporary infrastructure during high-demand periods can ensure safety and smooth flow. Cultural preservation programs. Documenting oral histories, crafts, and multi-generational knowledge ensures intangible heritage is maintained. Urban planners can view New Market as a living laboratory, combining commerce, culture, and community cohesion within a heritage framework. Immersive visitor narratives. Experiencing New Market. New Market comes alive through its visitors, locals, tourists, and students, whose experiences reveal the market's layers of meaning. The first-time shopper. A young tourist enters, overwhelmed by colors, sounds, and smells. Fabrics cascade like waterfalls, jewelry sparkles under dim lights, and street food aromas mingle in the air. Hesitant bargaining turns into playful interaction. By the end of the visit, the tourist feels connected, not just to the products, but to the stories, the families, and the history around them. The regular patron. A local family walks in mid-morning, greeting familiar vendors. Children run ahead to sample sweets, parents inspect fabrics carefully, and shopkeepers recall prior purchases. The visit blends necessity and ritual. Shopping becomes an act of memory, continuity, and relationship maintenance. The evening observer. An elderly visitor sits on a bench outside a flower stall, observing vendors rearranging garlands, assistants hurrying between stalls, and children negotiating their first candy purchase. The market unfolds like a living theater, every interaction a narrative, every corridor a stage. New market in literature, art, and media. New market has inspired writers, photographers, and filmmakers, highlighting its role as a cultural institution. Literature. Descriptions of New Market appear in Kolkata novels and short stories, emphasizing sensory detail, social diversity, and human drama. Photography. Photographers capture textures, colors, and movement, preserving ephemeral moments of daily life. Film and media. New Market often features in movies, advertisements, and documentaries, illustrating its layered identity and cultural centrality. Through these portrayals, New Market transcends commerce and becomes a symbol of Kolkata's social and cultural identity, documented and celebrated in creative expression. Philosophical and urban reflections. New Market embodies lessons about life, society, and continuity. Temporal layers. Colonial design, post-independence adaptation, and modern interventions coexist. Relational intelligence. Bargaining, storytelling, and apprenticeship cultivate empathy, patience, and social understanding. Memory and identity. Sensory experience, generational narratives, and festivals embed the market in personal and collective memory. Urban microcosm. The market mirrors Kolkata's diversity, resilience, and cultural multiplicity, demonstrating that urban spaces are not just functional but deeply human. This section now incorporates comparative global perspectives, urban planning challenges and strategies, immersive visitor experiences, cultural representation in literature, photography, and media, philosophical and urban reflections, month-by-month chronicles, life in New Market. To truly capture New Market, one must observe it continuously across a year. Each month reflects changing seasons, festivals, and social rhythms. January. New beginnings. Atmosphere. Cool winter mornings with soft sunlight filtering through the corridors. Commerce. Clearance sales from the previous year, woolens and shawls still dominate. Human element. Families stroll leisurely, children explore fabric stalls, and elderly vendors recount New Year memories from decades past. February. Preparations for spring. Goods. Light fabrics, cotton saris, floral motifs, seasonal fruits in street food corners. Social dynamics. Students and young couples explore affordable gifts and clothing for upcoming festivals. Cultural layering. Conversations about Holi and other spring celebrations begin, blending anticipation with commerce. March, May. Spring awakening. Commerce. Lighter fabrics, perfumes, and cosmetics rise in demand. Festivals. Holi preparations, colors, powders, sweets, and drinks are sold. Social life. Families interact with vendors, sharing stories of past Holi experiences. Children are often given small free samples, teaching generosity and community connection. June, September. Monsoon and resilience. Atmosphere. Humidity and occasional water seepage, adding challenges for vendors. Commerce. Rain-protected displays of sweets, fabrics, and flower arrangements. Street food vendors adapt menus to monsoon tastes, hot snacks, steaming tea, and spiced fried delicacies. Human stories. Vendors collaborate to shield each other's stalls, reflecting solidarity and informal governance. October, November, autumn festivals. Durga Puja. The market reaches peak vibrancy. Every lane is alive with fabrics, jewelry, flowers, and sweets. Shoppers move carefully among the crowds, children run with marigold garlands, and music of traditional drums fills the air. Eid preparations. Simultaneous preparation for Eid reflects New Market's cultural inclusivity. Embroidered garments, sweets, and festive gifts fill stalls. Social energy. Bargaining becomes theatrical, families reunite for festival shopping, and vendors work extended hours. December. Winter and celebration. Atmosphere. Cool mornings and warm lights give corridors a festive glow. Commerce. Christmas decorations, gift items, and bakery goods dominate. Woolens and winter fabrics remain popular. Human element. Tourists, locals, and families converge, creating a shared festive atmosphere. Storytelling, laughter, and sensory delight define the month. Artisan apprentice narratives, preserving craft. Many shops in New Market maintain apprenticeship traditions, ensuring that skills, stories, and culture survive. The Tailor's Workshop. An elderly tailor trains apprentices in fabric selection, measurement precision, and draping techniques. Apprentices also learn negotiation and customer engagement, subtle skills that cannot be taught in classrooms. Decades-old measurements are recalled from handwritten ledgers, linking past and present. The Silver Jewelry Atelier. A master jeweler works alongside his granddaughter, teaching her traditional silverwork. Customers admire pieces not only for craftsmanship but also for the story, the cultural significance, the family history, and the evolving design inspiration. Apprentices internalize patience, precision, and storytelling, transforming commerce into cultural preservation. The Sweet Shop Apprentices. Young assistants learn not just recipes, but timing, portioning, and the art of presentation. They witness festival preparations, customer interaction, and adaptive problem solving, gaining holistic insight into both commerce and community life. Festival microcosms. Multi-vendor stories. Durga Puja in detail. Visual splendor. Sari stalls display traditional red and gold patterns, flower stalls overflow with marigolds and jasmine, and jewelry counters glitter with festive sets. Social dynamics. Families haggle together, children learn bargaining, and vendors recall stories of past festivals. Micro-narratives. A mother orders her daughter's festive attire, while a flower seller helps a neighboring vendor weave garlands for last-minute puja orders. The interplay of cooperation and commerce exemplifies New Market's vibrancy. Eid preparations. Visuals. Embroidered kurtas, delicate sweets, and fragrance oils dominate stalls. Human element. Vendors recall family traditions of Eid, sharing stories with customers. Apprentices help package sweets while learning ceremonial significance. Interactions. Bargaining is polite and ceremonial, emphasizing mutual respect, tradition, and relationship building. Christmas festivities. Visuals. Artificial Christmas trees, gift sets, and bakery items transform the market into a cross-cultural celebration. Social dynamics. Tourists, Anglo-Indian families, and locals interact, fostering communal harmony. Cultural layering. Music, decorations, and aromas mix with Bengali traditions, reflecting New Market's inclusive spirit. Speculative reflections. New Market in the 21st century. Looking forward, New Market embodies both opportunity and challenge. Modern integration. Digital platforms. Vendors increasingly adopt online catalogs, digital payments, and social media marketing. Safety and infrastructure. Improved fire safety, sanitation, and pedestrian pathways can coexist with historical architecture. Sustainable practices. Waste management, energy efficiency, and eco-friendly materials can modernize the market without erasing tradition. Cultural continuity. Multi-generational families, apprenticeships, and festival traditions ensure that intangible heritage persists. New Market's human-centered commerce, negotiation, storytelling, relationship building, will remain its defining feature. Urban identity. New Market exemplifies the intersection of commerce, culture, and human experience. As Kolkata grows, the market will continue to anchor identity, memory, and communal life. Its survival and evolution will teach future generations the value of resilience, adaptation, and cultural stewardship. Conclusion. New Market is a living institution. New Market is more than a market, it is a cultural, social, economic, and philosophical institution. History, colonial roots, post-independence adaptation, and contemporary modernization coexist. Commerce, textiles, jewelry, food, flowers, and electronics create a multi-layered economy. Community, vendors, apprentices, customers, and migrant workers form a living social network. Cultural heritage, festivals, crafts, oral storytelling, and multi-generational knowledge preserve intangible culture. Philosophical resonance. It teaches lessons in patience, empathy, negotiation, and the human experience of time and memory. Walking through New Market is walking through Kolkata itself, a city of history, resilience, diversity, and human connection. It is a space where past and present converge, commerce and culture intertwine, and every visitor becomes part of a living, breathing narrative.